Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a budget revamp, a relook at our budget, kind of reworking some things and just completely restarting it. And so this is something I definitely think when you have like big changes in your life or big purchases that change your budget, that you definitely need to relook at and readjust for, or just occasionally to look at and make sure that you are allocating your money in the best way possible that you want to with your money. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and stick around. But first, let's see what T-Rex is trying. So remember guys, no matter what type of day you're having, at least you're not a T-Rex trying to control his jealousy. Guys, so I have all my binders here. I don't even think I can fit them all on screen. There we go. So I have literally taken all the money out, all the envelopes out, and revamped what I'm going to be doing with my money. So this one's being my savings challenge binder. This one will be a different video. When we kick back into our savings challenges, you'll see what I decide for this one. And we actually are going to get rid of 3 binders for now. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved having individual binders and all the categories and all the fun stuff, but with the changes that have happened to our budget recently, I decided it was time to slim down for this part of my budgeting journey and, you know, keep it fresh, keep me motivated. And that's another great thing with these revamps of our budgets is just, you know, if you need another get going and, you know, energy for your budget, sometimes we just need to look at how we're actually got everything set up and how we're using our money and if it's really keeping us interested or onto our goals. So that is what I did. We're going to hop into these in a second. But first, I'm going to show you just a quick little breakdown, bunch of numbers here. I'll go through it real quick. I'm not going to get into super detail. But what I decided is pretty much all of my bills, my car payment, my grocery and gas money, which almost 100% of the time gets spent at Costco anyway. So I'm just transferring that right to my Costco card after purchasing those. I'm going to leave those all digital. I'm still going to have them be a part of the budget with me so you can see how I'm breaking down my paychecks. But I'm going to leave it digital and keep it in the bank so I am not going back and forth to the bank multiple times a week or even just once a week because my bank is actually about 20 minutes away from me. So it's just not realistic right now. And then 2, because we have added a car payment into our budget now, and it is a pretty good chunk of change. It's probably a bigger car payment than I've ever had, but it is actually fully worth it. It was a car we needed and we got an amazing deal. So I honestly do not regret having that sort of bad consumer debt right now because I know we will work at it to pay it off sooner. So what I decided was, after looking at my budget, writing out all my bills, writing out our income, and seeing how much we had left over in a month in order to allocate towards savings for other things, I decided to narrow down my categories to the absolute most important and even combine some. And so what I did was I ended up making 2 binders. One is going to be all items that have a goal or somewhat end amount that I want to have them at. And then the second binder is going to be the things that are always growing, being spent out of a lot more, and so on. So I've, narrowed it down to Barney, which is our dog, health, which will, do any doctor's visits, haircuts, anything personal hygiene wise. We have our car maintenance and then the car related things of the insurance I pay yearly and our plate renewal or car registration. And then of course Christmas at the end of the year. So all of these kind of have either a certain due date or a certain amount I'd like to have in them. And then I also narrowed down these categories to splurge. So this is kind of like my hubby and I's binder just being all merged into one category. Our spending envelopes are, anniversaries and birthdays and big purchases and date nights. All of that's just going to be into splurge. And then travel is also for us just because we are trying to focus a little bit more on having weekends away or actual vacation time. After our trip to Texas, we just realized it was something we definitely needed to do more of and, make that a priority for us just because we enjoyed it so much. And having a gap of like 9 years in between trips was just way too long. Gifts, anything giving related, house repairs and maintenance, that's always a growing thing. Our emergency fund, which we're also going to call our general savings, I do have the $1,000 emergency money in there now, and then I just want to continue growing that, eventually making some higher goals for it down the road, but for now a little bit adds up every single time. And then of course I want to keep my nephew's envelope and keep growing some money for them. And so I kind of gave myself a quick little general, you know, minimum I would like to put in there from my husband's paycheck every month. And then in the red is what we are going to stuff today from the envelope that I emptied out, as well as a little bit of side hustle money of some items I sold and such. So let's hop into that. All right, so we should have $835. This is what's left over from me unstuffing some envelopes and some savings challenges that I ended up not needing at the time, as well as selling some, you know, old jewelry I didn't need, as well as a few other things on Facebook. And so I've just kind of been stockpiling it, and we've been using some of it as our normal spending money just during that crazy month where I was, you know, budgeting but not to the full extent while I was taking my break and being with family. And so here we have left over $835. So 1, 2, 3, 4, $455, $556, $650, $670, $90, $710, $730, $50, $70, $90, $810, $830, $835. And so what I decided to do was just give some, you know, envelopes a little jump start into what, you know, maybe we need going towards them, or just, you know, before we start doing our normal routine budgeting and stuffing again. I just wanted to give some of them a little bit of a head start just because I knew I had some stuff coming up. And the first one being Barney. Our dog does have some, you know, medications and stuff coming up. And I am now realizing that I actually need change, because I was going to give him 135, but I do not have 10. So let me grab some change. I'm just going to use my 1s and 5s challenge. I know I have 5s in here. So what we're going to do is 5, 10, 15, 20, and throw a 20 in here. I like to just mix it in and forget it's in there so that when I go to add up my challenge, it's a nice surprise. 1, 20, 25, 30, and 35. For Mr. Barney, I have a feeling I'm probably going to need more change, as I don't think I'm going to use all the 50s, but we'll see how we do. Health is going to get a 20. It just says medical for now. I am going to be creating some new envelopes to make everything nice and cohesive looking. Car maintenance is going to get a jump start at 20. Yearly insurance and our plate renewal, we just paid those, so I don't need to jump start those in any way. But Christmas is going to get 500. So 1, 2, 3, 354, 455. Just because that is going to sneak up on us before we know it, and I have gotten a little behind on it. So we're giving that one a nice big jump start. All right, and moving into our always growing category now. Splurge is going to get a 20. Our travel is going to get a 20. Gifts is going to get 100, so 50, 70, 90, 95, and 100. Both house repairs and emergency fund have $1,000 in the bank. They both have placeholders for that. And then nephews, we are going to give a 20 to jumpstart them, get them going again. All right, so that is a little revamp. That's a little, you know, complete restart. Honestly, I used to have 4 or 5 binders. Now we're down to 2. And so you will see in upcoming videos how I'm going to change my little budget with me sheets in order to still do digital and cash stuffing amounts just to keep myself straight. And then we will hopefully be revamping the savings challenges real soon and hopefully get some extra, side hustle and maybe a part-time job money to start putting towards that. So we will just see where this journey is going to take us. And this is the great thing about cash envelope stuffing and just budgeting in general, is that you always feel like you're in charge of the money. No matter how much extra you have or how tight your budget is, at least you are the one making the decisions and being in charge of it. And that is the most important thing, guys. Don't ever let your budget just get away from you because you don't feel like you have enough to budget. Whatever you have, you need to be in control of. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. I can't wait to see you in the next video. I have got a great surprise for you on the next one, so make sure your notifications are turned on. You hit the subscribe button, and if you want to see more content like this, please hit the like button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.